Good afternoon, everyone. Super excited today to be here with my new friend Jacob. Hi,
Yes,
Jacob.
yes. Hey,
How are you
Tammy.
today?
Oh, good. Today's a good day. Yeah.
Good. I love that he said today's a good day when I got here. Jacob and I have never met in person. This is the first time. I messaged him on Facebook. I've been watching his story. He has an amazing story of hope, not just a hope of recovery, but he's also just went through a lot of surgeries and a cancer. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear his story. For those of you that have not tuned in, this is Hope, helping other people evolve. My name's Tammy Lynn Connors. My mission and goal here is just to help other people get through their struggles to get to a strength. So, how I do that is I like to interview people that have been through a struggle to get to a strength. There's so many stories out there, and so many people feel they're so alone in their struggles. So, it's nice to hear. We don't like to hear of struggles, but it's so nice to hear of the hope that's with the struggles. So, like I said, I've never met Jacob in person. I watched his story, I watched his journey for I probably about a year now, year and a half. I've been kind of following you,
Yeah.
and
Cool.
so when he gave me the address to where we were going to do this at, it's a rehab.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a outpatient facility. But pretty much, yeah, we do all outpatient behavioral health services. It would be what we're supposed to
Yes. Okay.
say.
Perfect. Hey, we sometimes we got to stay compliant, right, to what we have to,
Yeah.
what we're
Yeah.
supposed to say. So, we'll edit if we're not compliant, but I think we'll stay pretty compliant here. So, when I got here, I didn't even know how long you've been in recovery, and you said 11 years,
Yeah. Go to
going
11
on
years
11
in
years.
November. Yeah. 11 years. So, uh, I've had a lot of tribbles and tribulations. So going back from strengths, I think in schools we always promote the opposite of strengths. We promote weaknesses. So it's like the kids are struggling, we got to get them up here to the average side. The kids are above, we kind of don't know what to do with them, and so the kids get in trouble. So going back to one of my weaknesses that started young, I think was this having dyslexia. Not being able to read in the schools, and I can see how it still affects me today. Like learning how to navigate like not doing homework and faking the fuck per se because I didn't know how to read that well. So that was always one of my biggest struggling in school. They would say I would fail English and do well like math or something, and then they would just be like you're failing and it it kind of hurts. Going to school right there, it's like kids are struggling with a lot of stuff that you don't know,
Hmm.
or we know how to say, or all the parents and stuff. It's like we want the teachers to fix everything, but it's unrealistic. So that was, I think, very early on. It's like learning what you're good at, what you're not good at. We don't promote a lot of that stuff,
Right.
at all.
So when you say dyslexia, did your teachers finally figure that out, or did you just it just they just said no, he's not good in English?
Yeah, yeah, really. I bounced around from like I had a I don't know, like behavioral schools, and then I had different schools I went to, and then I think maybe fifth grade, sixth grade. Yeah, I think one teacher sat down with me, like gave me a book, and told me to read the page. And I read it. Well, I was so good at talking. Like I have this skill
Mhm.
where like I'd read it and just make the shit up, And she would be
Uh-huh.
like, "You didn't read it at all. You can't comprehend." So that's kind of what started. But I was by then, they say if you don't get kids at a certain age, it's kind of rough because I was already getting suspended. Yeah, mainly be that like suspensions I'd find out, or mainly like in detentions or something. So I can't really remember like a teacher
Mhm.
that helped me with that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but that's good that there are teachers out there that do help with those kind of things.
for
Instead,
sure.
I see a lot of times, and this is just a lot of times I have to say this is just my feelings on things, and you see a lot of people like they'll just dismiss it and push it off, and
Mm,
then oh, they got ADD or they're disruptive and all this when there's really a root to the problem usually,
yeah,
and unfortunately we don't always find that, and
yeah.
then like you said, I mean, you were suspended at a young age then apparently at school because you're young. I mean, you're 29.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always like. It's always weird. So I'm always like running meetings, and I'm always having people telling me like I'm young and I don't understand what's going on, but I'm also like paying them, and I'm also like so it's always really weird to me. Uh, but yeah, at very young, yeah, I think I got suspended every year, kindergarten up.
Oh,
Yeah, and I
geez.
dropped out. I went to multiple high schools. Uh, yeah, I was in the system at a young age. I think I went to jail at 11 for the first age. Yeah.
Oh, no. It says we lost connection.
Uh oh. I think
Hopefully it'll reconnect. We'll just keep
yeah, we're
talking.
gonna be good. It's
We'll
gonna
be
be
fine,
good.
right?
find out. It'd be the worst thing, but we'll look silly
Well,
now.
it's
Great,
okay. It'll be
great
great.
interview
It'll be
now.
great.
So
Right.
it's your first edit. We screwed it up.
It's
Yeah,
okay. It's good. No, I still see little things, so I'm
yeah.
hoping that we're still. It says we're still
It's
connected,
still it's
so we're
beeping.
yeah, so we're good.
So
Oh yeah.
we went to school. Uh, I think in high school. It was kind of crazy too. I was just recently speaking at a high school. It wasn't their fault, but I remember being homeless. And trying to go to the school. And I remember like about addiction. This is like a really bad part of my addiction too. So I kind of skipped some stuff. But walking to the cafeteria, I'm just hopeless. And I remember like I didn't want to cry, but you're at that phase where like anybody pushes you about to cry, you're tearful. And I remember like the teachers. It was like weather like this. I have hoodies on because I had track marks and stuff
Mm,
or drugs. The stuff I was just beat up and dirty.
mhm.
And I remember the teacher, like I had to go home being suspended that day. Like, and I think that was like one of my last days of school. If I can remember. So then I did a lot of time in the juvenile system. Then I did time uh, in the adult system. So stepping back, I'm not making a connection from dyslexia to full
Right.
blown prison stuff. That I don't think that how it works. Like you said, people have. They have like a solution for everything, but they don't sit down and say, okay, maybe this kid doesn't have ADHD, maybe he's just hungry,
Right.
or maybe right now a common theme I see in the field, which is good, is like a lot of kids with autism. I don't know if I'm, I don't know if it's like I don't have like data. I don't know if it's just coming to
Right.
me or something like that, but it does seem like there's a lot of that social skills that can be rebuilt,
Mhm.
versus like the one-on-one time. Like the moms might not know how, or they might be mentally ill too. We see a lot. So,
Yeah.
I think it's like bigger than just a teacher, a student, or a parent and stuff like that. But going through my addiction, I think I started smoking at like 11. I think I was at Walbridge Park, smoked out like computer paper,
Mhm.
seeds and everything, and maybe a foil bowl if I was lucky, I guess. And yeah, by like 12, 13, I was caught trafficking. I got caught with like 4 ounces of weed when I was like 13.
Oh,
Yeah, it just kind of went from there. Yeah.
yeah.
So I had a habit, of, I tried to do good, but then I get out of the situation and then I would either sell drugs or just get in trouble. I would never go back and just be like, well, the system had to save me or something because I was bad too. So I don't
Right.
play that. But I was young, so a lot of people are caught off like by my story uh, and the life I lived, through that. So school was not my favorite thing. I was good with people. Like
Yeah.
that's the only thing. I was always good with like the teachers. I always had teachers that would stick by my side, or I was always like in school suspension or something like
Mhm.
that. But I think it was really powerful. But the drugs always would be good. I could tell my cycle. Like it wasn't just bad. It was like I would be on probation. I try to get my life together. I try to I try to go to school, like a new school, and change clothes and fit in with the uh, popular kids that weren't getting in trouble per se, if that makes sense, like the good
Mhm.
kids. It just never worked out. Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know, and I try to, that's a real big thing here at my business, making people like, when they come in the door, we have patients, come in the door, they get a coffee or water. We have a room that they can bring their
Mhm.
kids, so it's more welcome because people don't really welcome this population.
Yes, you're right. And so I can relate to that totally because when I was in school, it's the same thing. Like I'm social butterfly, same thing. Like I love people, I love to talk, but I like to fit in everywhere I could.
Mm,
But I never fit in except for the group that was
yeah,
like me, really. Like I would try to hang
yeah,
out with those popular people and all that, and I'd get shunned, and so I
yeah,
fit in with these people that smoke pot and drink.
yeah.
I'm good. I'll fit right in here. And that's what would happen too. I didn't change schools or anything, so I was blessed with that. But I can relate to what you're saying, and I love the fact that you say with this place here, you're welcoming. Like you have 4 kids, and you're welcome. We don't discriminate who you are when you come in here,
Mhm.
because we're all just people out here in the world trying to make it right. You know, and if they're
Yeah.
reaching for help, you definitely don't want to turn them around
Yeah,
because.
there's a big like a pet peeve of mine in the recovery community. I would say is like one, it's like they get like 2 months sober, they think like they're king, and that's they had it together. So somebody calls up here, or we have a patient relapse. They're like, well, they ain't serious. It's like, dude, you're telling
Yeah.
everybody it took you 22 times. What the hell?
Right.
You know? So as long as they're engaging with us, now,
Hmm.
they can't come here and I just pay for an 8 ball for them or something,
Right. Right.
but,
Right.
I never had that mentality. A lot of people that work with me in the field would know I'm stern, and stuff like that, but I'm also, non-judgmental in a sense. I'm welcoming when people relapse.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't treat. I don't know. I proud of ourselves here. We answer the phone. We don't, turn people away. We don't check them if they're serious or nothing
Hmm.
like that. Because I've been in the field where they're in an IOP group and they get kicked out or something, they go die. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
short term, win for long term loss.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's like to me, it's always dangerous. Uh, because like just like a kid, like
Right.
they're 5 years old, they screaming at you. Yeah, you might win the battle, but later feel like a jackass, yelling. So it's like, sure, we
Yes.
put this attic in a place, going back to that, that school stuff. It's like fitting in with people. It's like they probably try their hardest to even come back, and then they don't fit the cool club of
Right.
sobriety and shit, because
Well,
I don't
right.
know.
And I mean, I fortunately can say that I never have relapsed, thank God.
Yeah,
But I did you? Or did you get sober and then just stay
I
sober?
haven't. No,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But I can imagine, I think about that, like when somebody relapse, not only, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this to myself, but all the people that were like so proud of them. And now they got
right,
to go look at them and say, man, I used again. And I can't imagine how much that has to hurt someone. So to have you say that is huge
yeah,
because in the community, like you said, and just to love them where they're at and be, like you said, somebody could be 22 times and that 23rd time they'll be out there changing the world because they finally,
right,
gave it over and they're going to
yeah.
live that life again.
Yeah, I'd always get calls like, I mean, now I don't work at detox, but when I have worked at like those environments, you get the mom's call. That would be like the saddest shit. Like,
Mhm.
and I know the sun's not coming in. I just know it's not going to happen. I can just tell, And locally, sometimes they call, like, Jake, can you tell my mom we're going to come? I'm like, I'm not going to call your mom until you like get in here.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm not going to call her and then her be like, Jacob, you told me he was coming. And you're like, I have no
Yeah, well,
control.
wait with that point. You're still there. So
Right. Right.
yeah, I don't know. It hurts me. Like I always have if I'm running groups, you always talk about, uh, you know, it's like if you feel like shit, and then they say they welcome you with arms, but you got to walk in front of everybody, get the ship, and everybody
Mhm.
talks shit on you because they've been in the halfway house 2 weeks longer than
Mhm.
you. It's just ironic to me, that you have somebody with some New Balance shoes, blown out Wranglers with a shoestring, divorced 7 times, drinking coffee, telling you how to fix your marriage and
Right.
shit. So it's like
Right.
I tell my parents, don't even you know,
Yeah.
you gotta be careful. And I think that comes into like as you mentioned, never relapse, not say, but having a love for yourself that like
Mhm.
no matter what happens, that's not even an option.
Mhm.
So it hasn't like been easy. So I know you're in recovery, life. I tell my people all the time, life will get worse before it gets better because
Mhm.
you got to get your shit together. Your warrants here, you got court fights here, baby mama needs all the money, and we got to solve
Right.
it.
Right.
You got to do it sober. It sucks.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
because that's the thing is you have to do it sober and you can't and this is going to lead right into this is perfect timing for this because you have to do it sober, so you have to learn a whole new mindset. You
Mm,
have to learn to live a whole different life and not just use it as an excuse like, oh crap, this just happened to me, I'm going to go back out and use again or drink again or smoke again or whatever it is that you're doing, right? And
yeah.
you just had, you're married and have 2 kids and one on the way,
Yep.
correct? So
Correct.
excited. I just saw that post the other day. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yes. But you just went through a lot in the last, I don't know when the whole cancer started with you,
Yeah.
but if you could like maybe touch on that for everybody, just for me, this was watching your journey and watching you go through the surgeries and if you'll explain all that you
Hmm.
had. And just to know that you stayed strong, you didn't say, well, I have cancer, I'm just going to go back out and use again.
Yeah.
Instead, you're solid and you made a great comeback and just I'm just like in awe of your hope story with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I guess I do I give the right side to say, people in the addiction community always say, or maybe like anti-addiction recovery always be like, well, it's not cancer, you have a choice. It's like, well, the disease is a thinking pattern.
Mhm.
One, two, think about this. When somebody comes into the hospital, they could have their day up, legs chopped off, diabetes, and I've seen it. Hand a Big Mac to them in the thing, and we don't treat them at all bad.
Mhm.
Let an addict come in and overdose. I've seen this. Nurses, kill them. Next time, take more. Fuck them. Get them out of here. So
Mhm.
that was my effort. Sorry. And
It's
then
okay.
I was like, man, why is it like that? So that being said, it's like, man, I could compare having addiction and, as you mentioned, Tammy, having cancer. So, uh, I didn't choose to have a cancer. Going through my recovery, I definitely had trials and tribulations before this, deaths. Lost my best friend at Jimbo to a drug overdose pretty quick in recovery. That kind of, lost my nana. That was like, I look up the person that most influenced me raising up, strong woman. She grew up with a father that was abusive, would take guns and try to shoot at his kid, like just crazy abusive. I think mental health stuff. So get into this for about a year. When we started this business, my nose would like leak. So let's
Mhm.
say, and we started wearing masks around that time. So I'm leaking, like allergies. So everybody's like, it's allergies. So going back off this, so I go see Toledo doctors. They said you have this weird thing where nose damage has occurred, and it caused a nasal polyp, which is like a ball in my nose. So we're like, this is kind of weird, no doc. So I'm going through many, many doctors for like months. So I lived with it for like over a year before we found out what was going on. I couldn't breathe out my nose. And I just thought it was a sinus. Like I never put two and two together. There was something up there. I went to this place here I won't name locally. Yeah, they were like, "Yeah, we're going ready to do surgery on you." And one of the nurses, there was two pictures on the wall, X-ray pictures. So I'm going through all these CT scans. I already know I have a mass or something crazy. They think it's a nasal polyp, which is still kind of rare how it happened. I go up there. They have two pictures of my mass from like November to December. The nurse, like clinched, like uh, she's like, oh, something's wrong, And I'm a social worker. I'm trained in like human behavior and stuff, so I'm trying to
Right.
not overthink it, right? I'm trying to be calm. She's like, well, it could be cancer, and at that time, I was like, that's weird,
Right.
I
Right.
didn't put two and two together. So at the time, they were saying, okay, you need to consult with we need to consult with Cleveland Clinic doctors. And when you start bringing in Cleveland Clinic, it's kind of serious. So my wife, she couldn't come to appointments, so she's kind of like not angry at me, but she's frustrated at them because they're not giving me answers, and I'm getting worse. So I can't eat. So remind you, I remember like going to church and people were yelling, not yelling. That's extreme. People were like, "Jake, you lost a lot of weight. You look, you're losing too much weight." And I was like, "Oh, wow." So I'm thinking in my head, great. Now they think I'm doing drugs or
Right.
something at church or something. So and of course they would never think that, but our self-esteem. So I lost 80 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's weird because I started this. I had this job. I ran an overdose response team. I worked for overdose. I worked I worked with EMT and all that stuff to get people that overdose into the hospital. They have
Mhm.
no insurance. We got them straight up to detox. We
Okay.
were very successful on the numbers of that, but that's not the point. Point is when I got there, I started eating like real healthy. My doctors changed my diets and stuff, and I was losing weight. But I started thinking like this ain't normal. Like I'm losing a lot of weight.
Right.
Like so we get down to you know to the last point, me and my wife get a little argument. I start fighting the best doctor. So going back on the dyslexia thing, I did not know how to spell like the ENT doctor, rhinologist, and or any of them things. I misspelled and found a cancer doctor
Oh.
in this office actually named Dr. Sawani. So I booked this appointment. Uh, things are getting real frustrating, I never told this story before, but when I got down there, I get a huge fight with the lady there. So uh, I just I just left all my jobs and canceled all my insurances too. So
Oh.
this is fucking November, December. I find out I have cancer. So
Oh.
everything's like up in the air. It's kind of a weird time. This business is just starting. We're doing well, but it's just like I got to go to Cleveland. Cleveland. So I go to Cleveland. I have like a mental breakdown there. I almost lost out on this girl because she was wrong. We still be beefing now when I go up there, but she like told me I'd never be able to get treatment. So I thought like I'm gonna die. Like that's
Right.
the feeling. So I died and I panicked. And I remember, you know, I just like crying. Like I was in the hallway at Cleveland Clinic and like just people stepping over me I'm a man, you know. I mean, it was, but you know, and I got it was like really bad, so I had to get myself together. I had to pay money for the appointment, but ever since I got there, you know, they were geniuses. Like I snuck a picture that same day of the thing. That place never even sent any documents.
Oh,
Yeah, so thank God I took a snap of this picture. He's like, I would love to take your, you know, he's like, I'd love to take your money, but I can't even make an accurate decision without. He just wrote the doctor just wrote his opinion on reading like a CT scan,
oh,
which didn't mean shit because
right.
yeah, because they were wrong the whole time.
Oh,
Like even the doctor, even I was getting real sick at the end, like losing potassium, like going to the ER. Even that doctor be like, no, you don't need to go, just sleep it off. Like he was trying to get me killed. And as soon as I got to Cleveland Clinic, he was like, it's either a brain tumor, a mass, or cancer. You know, I was like, wow, you know, that kind of
right. Yeah. I mean, those are three great options. Not.
yeah, yeah. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna. So the best thing could have been like non-cancerous mass. So
Hmm.
that would be the best scenario. Every time I was up there, it was always like, here's the best scenario, and then here's the worst one. And every time I got the worst one.
Oh,
Like every time it was the worst one. So I asked Dr. Sawadi, you know, he's like, I was like, what if he's like, if it's attached to the brain, you know, but he was just so calm. He's like, hey, Jacob, my partner, you know, is a brain surgeon. We do surgeries every week. So it's like, uh, and I would say this too, you know, a lot of these treatment centers and stuff, I'll just say this, think they're like tailored to help their people the best and they're nice and there's no stigma. And I
mhm.
would disagree. You know, me working in the hospitals, they don't have that stigma like, oh, you're never going to get it, you know, that type of
Right.
stuff, which is good and bad, but it just seemed like a different level of care I see at the hospital. So as I'm going to Sawadi, you know, I got all the students coming to see me. I slowly start realizing this is kind of serious. So they won't
Hmm.
use the word rare, you know, at beginning. So,
Right.
which I found out. So that was January 4th. Uh, you know, and I had to get the doctors here to sign up here so we can become a provider.
Mhm.
So this is like December 14th around there. Yeah, I go to Toledo Clinic. I remember they had my MRI. They weren't trying to add these dyes to my MRI so they could see cancers.
Oh.
Yeah, so they were trying to do a surgery before I had a biopsy.
Oh.
So now I know all this great stuff. But my wife's, you know, nurse practitioner, so she not put up with any of this, you know. So I will say that.
Good. Good.
So we called them. Uh, we get the scans and stuff. They need all the tapes up in Cleveland Clinic, right? So
Hmm.
this is January, right before, maybe it's for the biopsy, so they can move quick. So my friend, you know, said we just had a bury his son from leukemia is riding with me. It's his birthday too. I remember too. He
Oh.
didn't even know it's his birthday. He won't even let me show the goddamn picture because he says he didn't look good enough.
Oh.
He's normally a pretty boy. He has all this long hair. He
Yeah.
won't let me even post. It was his birthday.
Oh.
He's a good guy. He came with me because we had to get all the reason why we had to do that because they're making decisions. We had to take all these tapes, all my records.
Hmm.
2 weeks later, they called me like, "Hey, you know, we're ready to send them over." I said, "I took them the next day." So,
Right.
21st going to biopsy. They take a piece. That was a very one of my painfulest surgery. So I don't know what they did because I think they messed the mask, but my eye was coming out. Funny story
Oh.
about wine. Holy shit! My other friend Dawn was like, you know, be careful with wine. Don't be touching. Be careful with surgery. So
Right.
we're on the east side, go out to eat, and he touches my eye because at the
Oh no.
point, right at the right, it gets worse. So at the point, he can push. It's squishy.
Oh.
It's sick. And I was like, you know, wine is sick. I don't mess with this shit. If you had it, I would never do that to you. You know,
Right.
I would never touch it.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And he touched it, and it squished. The next day, I found out. Dog's like, yeah, wine had COVID.
Oh
I was like,
no.
oh,
Oh
shit.
no.
I was like, well, I'm good. Or Dog's like, I was like, I'm good. It won't happen to me. So we're going through the surgeries. They find out I have Chondro Sarcoma. And I remember this phone call, you know, vividly. It took forever. You know, Cleveland Clinic would pride themselves on like from diagnosis to this. They said only take a week. It took 3 weeks before I got my results back, which I
Oh.
know now because when they make this diagnosis, it has to be pretty serious.
Hmm.
So uh, my wife's at work. She's working in the ICU in COVID. She ran the COVID. She did COVID the whole time during that year. So uh, her boss and all of them are waiting. You know, we're waiting for the final result. But I skipped one part of the story. This is how they told me I had cancer. So it's kind of a sad. But initially, they tell you what cancer that I found out the cancer has. So go back to Toledo Clinic. I walked in. It was like a movie. They were not nice. I wouldn't say they were mean, but they're not nice to me like this. Like they would never say this. I came. They're like Mr. Spellis, which I knew was kind of weird. They
Hmm.
let my wife come in. I got the MRI. Yeah, it was super sad, yeah, because my wife, a nurse, she's always like, if they give you a diagnosis, don't be surprised if I don't cry. I remember this
Right.
to a T. I was like, that's kind of a cold blooded killer. Jeez, you know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Like, okay,
Right.
shit, okay. And I remember like this day, walk in, uh, all the I don't know what their jobs are, but all the girls are on their computers
Oh.
staring at me. It's never
Oh.
been like that because it's
Oh.
always moved,
Right.
and I could tell like when I walked in. As soon as
Yeah.
the doctor walked in right away. I remember, yeah, so he said I had cancer. Uh, and I got up and I tried to fight. My wife was crying.
Mhm.
I lost.
Yeah.
Like all like uh shit. And my
Right.
mom's blowing my phone up,
Right.
because I was like, I want to talk to no. Everybody called me too. So that's the bad part too. So every appointment, everybody's aware. I
Mhm.
mean, this is a good part. Everybody's connected, but then it's bad because like as soon as I get out, 10
Right.
missed calls, I gotta tell the story over and over. So I'm like
Right.
freaking out. First thought I get going back to like the addiction thing was I'm gonna get a pack of cigarettes because I quit cigarettes.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, that'd be stupid, Jake. What are you gonna do? Like, how's that gonna
Right.
help? You don't know what's going on yet.
Uh-huh.
So at that time, they said that my cancer went from here to here
Oh.
in my lymph nodes. And the bad thing about this cancer is that uh, turns into a like an untreatable lung cancer, like a
Okay.
different lung cancer that's on your bones and lungs. Which okay,
Okay.
so the problem with my cancer is chemo and radiation can't kill it. So you're like that don't make no sense. So it's just because radiation they kill fast cancers. This
Okay.
is slow,
Oh, okay.
so slow they can take me. So go back to Dr. Sawadi. I bring my wife in. No, she's at work. I get the call. And I remember my kids are trying to play outside. It's like negative 10 degrees out. I'm like, whatever. Put them all in stuff. The
Uh,
dogs are like hanging out the door. Phone call comes. They weren't, and I was like, oh shit, it's a private call. They called me like 6 times. I kept ignoring it because I thought it was a patient
mhm. Oh.
at the time that was like, or somebody got something that somebody kept calling me, just being weird. So I pick up the phone. He's like, hey, and as soon as I call my wife, she picks up. I'm on the stairs, like staring at my kids. They're like, yeah, it'd be Chondro Sarcoma. There's less than 100 cases a year. So I was like, well, Doctor, so you've done this before. Cleveland Clinic's done it before. They're like, no, it's our first case.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, and my wife's kind of like, when they said sarcoma, I didn't know what any of this shit mean. I
Mhm.
see her cry, so I know it's
Mm.
bad.
Mhm.
And he's like, say it with us. Now, Dr. Sawadi, God-given person,
Okay.
uh, nice to my family, my mental health. I mean, uh,
God put him in your life
yeah,
for
for sure.
sure.
Yeah, I
Right?
misspelled. I remember calling my mom at like 1 in the morning, like, Mom, good thing about dyslexia, because I misspelled this dude. He runs the Head, Neck, and Cancer Institute.
Wow.
Yeah, the co-director.
So there's your dyslexia. Thank God for it,
So going
right?
back to yeah, this is strength for now.
Right.
So I always try to I screenshot because when I looked up and what I found is like oncologist. Am I saying that right?
Uh-huh.
Doctor. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I would have never spelled that word. Everybody knows me
Mhm.
knows I can't spell that word. So I actually found him, his department, and he was like the guy. Like out of
Mhm.
140 doctors, he's the guy.
Wow. Wow.
So we get into there. We're going to Cleveland Clinic like once or twice a week. So it's kind of like draining when we get up there, it's like business. It's like everybody's serious. I never felt like they took care of everything. I never felt like they're just so smart. Like
Mhm.
confidence, like competency equals confidence. So it's like they knew everything.
Mhm.
Normally my wife is not let any shit. She's listening.
Right. Right.
So he sits down with us, tells us, talks to us calm. 45-minute sessions, hours with them every time.
Mhm.
With all their staff. So starts to get more serious. I'm on the tumor board. Uh, yeah, tumor board with Harvard, Mayo Clinic, Florida Cleveland Clinic, somewhere in California, some other place in Florida, are all on my case. Florida,
Wow.
yeah. So I have doctors all over the country. I mean, like 30 doctors, and they do these tumor boards. Uh, Normally, but they brought on a lot of cases because it's complex. So the reason why Harvard was involved is they had some guy back in the day who was like the leader in this cancer.
Okay.
Well, uh, so I'm glad so they got that, and then we have Beaumont Hospital as well. So they were no, so uh, the before I went to surgery. So before I went to surgery, uh, and go through this whole time. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I have been pretty optimistic actually this whole time, realistically, not
Mhm.
just on social media. There's day obviously gonna be depressed some days. Obviously, some days you
Well,
get angry,
sure.
you know. But I always, when I had to sit down with my kids and tell them my family, that was hard. Like I had to organize my whole family that day. I told
Mhm.
them that day, and I told my kids like we're not gonna blame. First thing I said, we're not gonna blame God. Uh, we're gonna fight. So
Mhm.
it made it worse. My daughter was like, I'm fumbling words, trying not to tell her I have it. And
Right.
she's like, just tell me what it is. Then she even says, you have cancer. And I was like, nah, I couldn't tell,
Right,
so
right.
that was like, it's a weird experience. I would say, like, when you tell your recovery story, uh, in the beginning, it might be a little shameful. But when you tell like your cancer story, like it affects everybody, like your loved ones, like they
Mhm.
die with, like they feel that. That's how I felt. Like every time I told them, uh, I feel like they struggle. Our struggles is different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You probably could see their pain in them, like the I mean, we see the pain and addiction with our family too, but I feel like just because of the word, right? Too,
Hmm.
we've been hearing that and we don't hear a lot of good outcomes always, right? Because nobody's
No.
out there sharing their story of hope like you are right now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No, it is. It was a weird time with COVID too. I mean, none of that stuff really applied up there because it's like so severe. But I will say one of the saddest uh, things is like walking through, and I'm sure they look at me the same way too. Because you walk through the cancer thing, you see sick people here, ball,
Mhm.
and you see children like holding machines and shit.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
then they have,
Yeah.
it's just like you got people come all over the country. So it's like oh, like I mean, I still gotta go there for a long, long time.
Mhm.
But so go back to surgery. Uh, so I don't know if your doctors tell you this, but they said we need a miracle surgery,
Oh.
and I was like, okay, why? They tell you the truth. Like it's not like they hide stuff. They're like, well, Jacob, this is gonna be we don't know if we get it on one time. So they thought it was attached to my skull already, some other bones since it's a bone
Oh,
cancer.
jeez.
Yeah, so it was serious. And then this spreading. So the only good hope that I got was right. I was with my friend Zach, and he takes me to like some trailer. I mean, at the time it seemed kind of stupid, but now it makes sense. All the cancer patients, they don't want to around people. So I'm in a trailer
Mhm.
doing they got put radiation in me, and I remember doing a PET scan.
Mhm.
So the PET scan, I was nervous. So another thing about this bone cancer is that it shows up. In bones. In children, you see it's a weird. They show the bones. They have to cut their
Oh.
legs off. That's how
Oh,
serious it is. So
jeez.
it's number one at St. Jude's. So I've had like a bump in my knee for a long time, and I
Oh.
remember thinking like I went to the doctor for that. I had to do yoga. I'm thinking like, oh shit, it's in my knee, my lungs.
Mhm.
Like I'm panicking. And I get the test, and I get the test like while I'm eating, and I read it, and it has not spread past my lungs. So that was the
Okay.
goal. So they
Right.
said if it spreads to my lungs, yeah, we're in
Right.
trouble. So and they kind of called the bluff on this. That some of the doctors. So I had three surgeons. I had Dr. Lamar, who cut my neck, Dr. Sawadi, and Dr. Pena, the brain surgeon. So I
Okay.
had I had three surgeons there the whole time, and it was like 10 physicians. Before we get in there, they're warning. They're not warning me, but they tell you everything that could go wrong. So I had a 90% chance to not have a vision here because it was so wrapped up with all the nerves and
Mhm.
stuff like
Did
that.
you say 90% chance?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
It might have been 85. Yeah,
Well,
I
but it's up there. Okay, it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
over
No, I'm just playing. I'm just
75, so it's up
playing.
there.
I'll just play. So
Right.
I think I dial. Sometimes I dial play it sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's like nerve wracking. So I was supposed to have numbness in my face too. That was another 90% chance.
Mhm.
I would have numbness forever, like nerve damage in my face. They were going to cut here. If this was cancer, they were going to move the lymph nodes, and take them out. They had to test them. So they had a pathologist that was there the whole
Okay.
time during the surgery. So this is a 10-hour surgery. Uh, I was supposed to have nerve damage, walk damage. I was already having like sinus problems, like so
Mhm.
bad. Like I had like the worst sinus problems for like
Mm.
over a year. I just didn't know, now that I can breathe. They said I could lose my smell, which I did. I have 100% have no smell
Oh, you don't.
at all. Yeah,
Okay.
radiation kind of messed it up, but I'll
Mhm.
explain. So surgery goes good. We have a whole family down there. February 25th is the surgery. I have to get COVID test. I think Sunday, Monday I go on another procedure. They had to go through my leg, cut the blood off to the tumor. So they
Oh,
came up with this at the last second. So I was like, all right, so
right.
whatever you guys say. They're like they're not thinking any of this will work really.
Okay.
So I'm thinking like, all right, so I get the procedure done. It's like 3 hour, only a 3 hour surgery. It's just weird, like being in rooms with like, you wonder why healthcare costs so much,
Right.
and then you think like, then you go in one of these $1 million rooms with like
Right.
robots and shit,
Right. Right. Yeah.
yeah. And I remember the doctors they were always so nice. They wore my blankets. Yeah. Going back to mental health, I do have PTSD, and for some reason, uh, I don't know, my shit's going out. Sometimes like when shit's going good, my mental health is good, which doesn't make. I mean, shit's going terrible. Mental health good sometimes, or sometimes the opposite. This time I was having a lot of PTSD,
Sure.
like just feeling type of things. It took me 100% serious. The way they even got me this way. That's how they put me down. Uh, the whole team. It's like a team of people right here. Like Jacob, breathe. Your body's been going through so much. And I'm thinking I'm in the NFL like Reggie
Right.
Bush,
Right.
breathing, air, and then every said, "There's Jacob, good job," blowing again, and I'm out. I'm like, damn it, they
Oh.
did it because of my PTSD because they want to
Oh.
go over my
Oh
head and they told
yeah.
me, yeah.
Yeah.
So they took it very serious. Uh, they would talk to me like a normal person. I tell my substance abuse history because
Mhm.
I gotta go on I don't know, whatever they give me wasn't even working. I know
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
I remember want to get a little fight with some doctors. They're like, you're in some pain or something. I'm just yelling like, yeah, of course I just got a damn tumor,
Right.
and I think they held off on my whatever medication they gave me. So I go, go, I go to surgery early morning. They're on time. I feel like for the first time ever. All the doctors come. There's all these students too, so it's kind of like cool to them, I guess, in a medical sense.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
you never seen it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Even when I was at ProMedica ER a couple times, the doctors would come and look, and they're kind of excited. Just weirdos,
Yeah.
So I get the surgery. Dr. Sawadi's the head surgeon. Uh, I have all these complications. They don't know if it's going to come out. On top of that, the plan is to take a piece of this skull out, drain my brain fluid. Does that even make sense? No, I still don't get that. Drain the brain fluid, take muscle up here, patch it again
Oh,
because the cancer
okay.
is going to be right there, and
Oh,
once it goes,
okay.
it'll spread. So I would have
Okay.
been done if it's on my skull.
Uh-huh.
So that all the images were wrong.
Oh,
So what it was is like let's say this is my skull. It was like waving like this, and it was
okay.
catching it on it like that. So
Oh,
I say God and all the prayers.
sure.
It it was a miracle. My wife came out. The doctor called. She just heard like emergency like surgery thing,
Uh-huh.
and she had to come and it was COVID, real bad still now. And, the doctor just, said it was a success, hugged her. And, I came out. So it was supposed to be a 10-hour surgery. It was a 7-hour surgery. They're supposed to cut my whole face
Uh-huh.
here, take the tumor out because it was the
Okay.
size of a grapefruit. I
Did
don't
you guys hear
understand.
that?
Yeah,
The size of a
I got
grapefruit.
documentation, that was played. The
I
haters will
can't,
say
I
it's fake.
mean, how does that even happen?
Yeah, well,
Jeez.
the January 21st, the biopsy, they didn't think it was that big, but when they went in there, they're like, "Oh, so it's as big as a grapefruit." I was
Wow.
like, "That don't make sense." I guess the grapefruit is the worst fruit diagnosis thing, I
Yeah,
don't know.
right,
I
right.
don't know.
Well,
I
in
guess
your
watermelon.
face.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I don't think a watermelon definitely could fit
yeah,
there, but I mean, a grapefruit in there. Jeez.
yeah. So it was, very painful. So I got the surgery kind of the first surgery I got out like after all the surgeries, I did success. I had people down in Cleveland. We had hotels. This is real sad too. I didn't even share this. So, my wife was pregnant at this time too. We just found out she was pregnant, and I woke up and had to do like my big brother was there, and I was just talking about I had a new baby coming, and
Hmm.
my first appointment out after the surgery, we found out we had a miscarriage, and
Oh,
it was yeah, it broke me out all the sweat.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I appreciate you doing this, honestly. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was
yeah,
hard. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's really hard.
we got out and yeah, I felt lost. Like I felt like
Yeah.
you give like I got a little bitter.
Hmm.
That I had all my nerves were healing, I guess, and they thought which I mean they're way smarter than my Googling. But the 14th nerve versus 15th, somewhere to end. When you bust that nerve, you can have, they call it like the suicidal disease. You can
Oh.
look it up because it's so
Oh.
painful. So I started having my nerves in here, and I was going to clear. I never had like I don't know. I wasn't like I was doing good. I had no pain. I didn't think about pain medication,
Mhm.
right? And I'm thinking like a goddamn recovery person. Like
Right.
I don't need that. I took a tumor on my face. And I had the worst pain. I'm driving to Cleveland, like
Oh.
it wasn't until they found out it was nerve pain. But luckily they were just healing,
Good.
So it's
Thank
like,
God.
yeah, at that point I was like, come on, quit playing with me now. This
Right.
is I've been
Right.
very
Right.
I can't have this one. This one's
I've
never
been
fun.
loving you this whole time. This is
No
enough,
care.
right?
Yeah, they kept saying no, it wasn't that. So my surgery was in February. Like 8 months. I still have like it's numb. I
Mhm.
couldn't shave for a long time comfortably. Uh, which is like it's normal. I'm sure they're just like we saved your life, so it would be normal. But we were just going through a lot of series of events. So anytime it was a blessing. Then same thing. We get on tumor board. So with my cancer, the only thing that could treat it, the sensitive is called proton radiation,
Okay.
uh, which I'm uh, I'm young enough where I can do this. So they only use it like they've been using it now for colon cancer. They've been pretty successful with seeing. So it's like I'm just blessed. So there's only two places in the world that can treat my cancer: Harvard, Beaumont, Michigan, because of the
Wow.
machines. Yeah. So that's 90 minutes away. So we're talking on that. Well, I get news one day that Harvard said no radiation. So I'm losing my mind because they're like, it's such a perfect surgery. Uh, uh, yeah, it's such a perfect surgery that we don't need radiation. So I hear that. I'm like, oh, sweet.
Right.
But that's not what the whole thing said. There was 9 teams on there.
Oh.
Harvard did say no, but they wanted me to come do like PET scans every 2 months and stuff. So Cleveland Clinic was calling their bluff and saying they had Dr. Woody, who's my cancer doctor, just a wonderful man too. I got his cell phone number, and uh, he was just like you know the people that Harvard trained said no, because they already acting like it's going to go to your lungs. So
Mm.
let's not do that. So
Right.
we had a party, and then the Dr. Chad called me out of Beaumont Hospital, my family. It was like 11 on a Saturday. He kept calling us at 11 at night, trying to grab our attention. So it's kind of I had to do 37 treatments of the most intense radiation you could get,
Mm.
7,000 levels. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I had friends here that were like, dude, you can't even get past 5, right? I go to the doctor, they're like, it's 7,000. These are smart people. You can't even,
Right. Right.
you bring them a conspiracy theory. They're like, well, no, it's this energy over this, and you're like, what the hell?
Right.
I got kicked out of biology.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I never took chemistry.
No
My
clue what
friend
you're
said
talking about.
5, and you
Right.
said it's 7,000. So
Right.
I remember my brother was there. It was like, and my little brother was, amazing. I'll go back to that too. Like everybody's support was, I don't know. It just was, like I felt rich,
Mhm.
like like not money wise, but just like wealthy, I guess, in a sense. Like, every support. I did have to make dinners
Mhm.
for 2 months. I had like little donations here and there so I could take my family.
Yeah.
Uh, I had decent health insurance where I was maxed out at like 8,000 for millions of dollars with the surgery. So, I really got to see that my mom for the first time. Maybe not, but I think she got to see like my career.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's like this feels kind of private. You deal with people's private issues, so it's not
Right.
like, hey, I got this dude.
Right.
It's not like that. So it's like people that reach out to my mom, and me. It was kind of like just over just saying good stuff. It wasn't like that. It was just crazy, like bringing up what I did. It was just like the best things in life aren't things.
Right.
You know,
Right.
right? And some people are so broke, all they have is money.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I know
Yeah.
that recovery,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
So I felt better than ever. Supported prayer groups all over. Uh, down in Cleveland, like I couldn't complain. Like I feel like I'm here for a reason.
Mhm.
Most people don't be this. I had 11% chance to live, uh, and I have an 89% chance of coming back.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
Yes.
vicious. There's no research on
Oh,
this. It's an older
coming back.
cancer.
I got what you're saying.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Probably before surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like if it wasn't done properly, I don't think that. No, I don't think like that at all.
No.
It's scary. Like I
Mhm.
just so like I just I had all these stomach pains, and the radiation. People are like, no, it's not radiation. I said, this hell. So I keep going back. Went back to Michigan. They said I might have a stress ulcer.
Mhm.
So now I go there. They're asking me about colon cancer and shit. I was like so nervous. But it's like you gotta calm yourself down. Because you got to see the strengths, what you
Mhm.
go through. And I'm not saying minimizing recovery, like if you've been through sexual abuse or physical abuse or whatever, don't uh, minimize it and stuff. You got to address and stuff like that. But some of the stuff we do, it makes me so angry. It's like recovery people are the smartest people.
Mhm.
You go to every time I was incarcerated. It's like I've seen the best dancers, I've seen the best singers, I've seen the best
Mm.
athletes, tattoo, artists.
I was just gonna say the artist part. I've definitely seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, to me.
Mhm.
And like, some people are businessmen. It's just like we just give ourselves away to the system. We
Mhm.
just give ourselves away to these drugs.
Mhm.
All they do is take.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. So this has been awesome.
yeah,
It's just great to hear your story. And like I said, you're due again in February, right? With the
yep,
new baby. That's exciting.
yeah.
I bet the kids are excited.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
every day. Yeah,
And your
baby's
wife
kicking.
feeling good?
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you say the baby's kicking?
yeah. He
Yeah.
started kicking 2 days ago.
Do you know if
Yeah,
you're having?
I think it's a girl.
You think it's a
We find
girl?
out next Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's the best feeling when they're kicking like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
My wife felt really good. So
Good.
yeah, we're
Good.
really happy. We're really
Yeah,
happy.
so I'm just blessed that you said yes to me to do
Oh
this. I
yeah,
know I've
absolutely.
messaged him a few times like, "Hey, I do this podcast and I'd love to
I didn't
have
do it
you
on
on here."
purpose.
I know you didn't. I listen,
Yeah, I
I've
promise.
been watching. Believe me, I've been praying for you.
I
I'm like,
appreciate
I don't even know this guy. I just was watching you going, "Oh my goodness, I'm just going to keep praying for him."
yeah,
And just to watch everything happen like miraculously, really.
yeah,
When you talk about it and stuff just like the doctor and all of that. And so like if anybody, okay, anybody on here right here is probably the biggest story of hope, honestly, that I've really done. I mean, I definitely, I'm not dismissing any of
yeah,
these
yeah.
stories, but just to know the
I got some
struggles that you've been
substance.
through, right, and the strength that you have to sit here. And I think that was one of the biggest things that caught my attention was when I see somebody that's in recovery and they go through a huge struggle,
Mm,
huge. I mean, not just one. I mean, with the miscarriage,
yeah,
everything, and then you can still be here today running a business helping people, you know.
insane. Yeah. Sometimes my counselor told me that one time. She was just like, she caught me off guard. So recovery people are good like this, right? So it's like we help people. We get lost in helping other people. It's like a
Mhm.
drug, and then and she kind of broke it down to me like that. And it's like every time I have a vacation, I get sad. Every time I have this, I get sad. So I would always continue. I'm a big advocate. I still get counseling across the street
Mhm.
once a week. I still see a psych doctor if I need to. I still see medical staff. I have support staff. So it's not easy. Being honest, I live with bipolar disorder too, PTSD, adult ADHD. These are really hard.
Right.
And in early recovery, I denied it. I said, just do. But then it would start impacting my life and PCP. It's like, okay, I need some more uh, ways. It was hard.
Mhm.
Especially as a man dealing with all this stuff. So it's weird. Yeah, I had mental health flare ups at the worst time. And, it's a lot like in recovery. The beautiful thing, you just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
I
keep
love
going.
that you said about the counseling. And here's my thing on that. I just was talking to a friend the other day and she's on antidepressant. And I was like, did they have you go to a counselor too? Well, no, they just gave me the medicine. And I'm like, oh, you need counseling. You really need to talk to somebody. And
Yep.
I think, especially with men, I will say that, and it's that ego. I
Yeah.
mean, we all have our ego,
Yeah.
right? But especially, unfortunately, men have been groomed that way, really. Like,
Mhm.
that's their truth. That's the way that you're supposed to be. You don't go see a counselor, you don't talk to anybody about it, right?
Yeah.
But to hear that and to have you say that, I think is huge for everybody out here. It's just it's life and it's our way of dealing with it, and you have to get it out there somewhere, right? You can't
Right.
just keep it all inside. And what you deal with, like all those things so many people deal with, but there's either their ego or they're ashamed and they won't
Hmm.
go get the help. And I think that just hearing your story is going to help so many people. I can't
Oh,
wait for
thank you.
this. We're going to get this up here today
Yeah.
and I'm excited about it. And I'll send you the links and we can share it. Is there anything you want to say to anybody? Like, you can plug your place here too if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My messages be, I don't know, for the professionals, we gotta do better, for the people going through addiction, when you're ready, you're ready. But let's start early, loving
Mhm.
ourselves, let's start early setting the trend. It's hard to be the sober kid. I never expect, I understand, you always get these people, I would also like to mention one, the documentary on Amazon, and Chasing Hope is a free
Mm.
documentary that you get. It's in almost 50 states, I believe, and over 50,000 viewers in schools. It comes with things. So there's a lot of resources I would recommend. Then lastly, I am the owner of Revitalized Behavioral Healthcare here in Toledo, Ohio, 5577 Airport Highway. If you just got any questions about help or need some resources, give us a call. We do everything in outpatient from partial hospitalization, medical, uh, counseling, one on one. We're tailored here for you. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, Tammy.
Thank you so much. Can
Yeah,
I get a hug?
yeah,
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
yeah, no problem. Yeah, let me give you a